Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about some news that came out recently, giving us updates about the Leverage reboot, which I wasn't even aware of, but I'll get to that soon enough. Coming to IMDb called Leverage Redemption. Really quickly, if you know nothing about Leverage, give you an idea what it is. Basically, it's like a group of criminals using their criminal skills to help someone. And basically where the title of the show comes from is these are people who are in a position where they don't have anyone to turn to, whether it's like a criminal or con artist or whatever, grifted them out of their money or whatever, whether it be them skewing the lines of doing some criminal stuff, but legally, or just straight up finding loopholes or whatever. This group that at the beginning consisted of 5 people, hitter, which is basically the muscle of the group, a hacker, a thief, and a grifter, as well as a mastermind, basically pull off these like jobs, these kind of cons, as a means of getting back whatever was stolen to you and kind of giving you the leverage you need to kind of get back what you want, whether it's taking, and in the same process, taking down said bad guy. So that's kind of give you a gist of it. The show was very like dramatic, but it was also like a very funny show. Like in general, it was like a fun show altogether. Like if you've not seen Leverage, I highly recommend you check it out. It's 5 seasons. Each season's not that long. They're only like, what, maybe 10, 13 episodes, something like that. They're usually along those lanes. They're not too long, but it's a really good and fun show. But earlier I brought it up. I wasn't even aware this was a thing. Like, apparently talks about this came about in like 2020, which I was unaware of. That's interesting. But obviously news has come out recently. I was reading an article like from like Collider where someone had asked Aldous Hodge about it, and he gave information like the title, as well as like obviously some of the original cast is coming back, interestingly enough, which we're going to get in a little bit of spoiler. So if you've not seen all of Leverage, dip out for a tiny bit, I guess, or at least mute me or whatever. I'm just going to talk about the ending for a quick second. So obviously we have this situation with Parker taking over things. Obviously Nate and Sophie left at the end of the series, but Parker, she stays with Hardison and Elliot, and they continue the team going forward. But you know, so that's where I'm assuming obviously we're going to be picking up after that. So I'm cute because it's going to be new characters, like obviously like Noah Wiley is going to be playing a new character, but also from the article I was reading, Aldous Hodge had said that like Hardison is going to have like a sister, like an adopted sister, like pop up in the show. Now whether she's going to be a full-blown regular, whether she's going to be like a replacement for Hardison or whatever, who knows? Like what the structure of the show is going to look like, because it seems like at least where they're kind of implying it's going to be like a dip in and dip out. It's kind of like, it's not like a full-blown reboot. Obviously it's like a soft reboot where it's like, here's the old school, here's the old team, but we're going to be introducing the new blood, you know. So whether it's going to be like a full-blown full roster change or whatever, because I think there's only like, initially it was like 13 episodes they were going to film for this revival. I don't know how many of them they only got through because of, you know, the pandemic and quarantine and everything. So I don't know how much they filmed, but or maybe they did film the full 13, but I'm curious to see what the structure of this is. I'm assuming we're going to have a situation where, because at first I was like, okay, maybe Parker's forming a new team, filling out the roster a little bit more, like, because I'm assuming like as much time has passed since the original series finale, that maybe that's how much time has passed in universe. So I'm assuming maybe Parker's flushed out the team a little bit more. Maybe that's where some of the new characters come in. But another thought in my head is that maybe Parker's taking their business and going full-blown international, that basically all around the world they have like new teams around doing the same thing. Like this has become like an international kind of criminal thing, but also, like I said, helping people in the long run. So I think that'd be so neat. Especially because I'd be so curious to see how much Parker has changed too, like amongst anyone, because she is the character, like, I mean, in the long run, everything has kind of been leading to her taking over the whole operation. Because when you compare where Parker was at the beginning of the series to where she is at the end, it's like leaps and bounds, because obviously she didn't know how to like be a kind of a quote unquote normal person. Considering her upbringing, makes sense, but she wasn't the most well-adjusted person. But at the end, as the show progressed, she became to kind of like understand what it was like to kind of connect with people, and it became more and more of a natural thing for her. So I'm curious how much she's grown. There's even the element to think about. We saw how Nate, I mean, granted, Nate had his own issues, so, you know, his drinking and all his other issues started manifesting him and becoming more evil and like cynical and darker when it came to some of his plans and his schemes. That makes you wonder, will Parker suffer the same thing of like, maybe over the years she's gotten a little darker. Maybe it's like I might need to bail out, so I need someone else to take over the operation thing. Like I said, just purely throwing that out there. Obviously, like, you know, maybe this is also because, like, hey, they're trying to find the next generation because they are in general trying to retire, because it's like, well, we can't have a normal life while continuing to do this. It's kind of why Sophie and Nate bounce, which, you know, we know the actress who's playing Sophie's coming back. So, like, and you know, what does that necessarily mean for their story? So just, once again, we don't know the full capacity in which everyone's coming back, whether it's just going to be like, as like Aldous Hodge was saying in the article, dip in and dip out, at least like his part in the story. So we don't know if the same thing applies to everybody else, but I'm excited to have Leverage back. This was a great show. So you want to give me more Leverage? I am here for it. It is interesting that it is on IMDb TV, which is going to definitely be interesting. I'm surprised maybe just TNT wasn't really interested in a revival on TNT, or whatever the case may be. I think they were saying, I mean, obviously with the reboot coming there, that you can find all 5 seasons of the original show there as well on IMDb TV. So I kind of want to, because it's been a while since I went back and rewatched the entire series. It's such a good show that you can just pop in any episode, but obviously it's like just watching episode by episode and just see how much this team, this family grew, you know, not just on the personal individual levels with each of the characters, but also just them as a unit. Like, you know, like I'm just so excited. Like, this was actually some really good news to hear about this Leverage reboot. I obviously getting, like I said, updates about something I didn't even know it was coming into existence. But I'm really excited whenever this ultimately does drop. I think it is supposed to come out sometime this year, I think. Looking it up, it seems like it's supposed to come out sometime this year, but I'm sure that also depends on just how a lot of stuff ultimately ends up playing out. But like I said, I'm excited. I'd love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you someone who watched the original show of Leverage? And if so, are you really interested in this revival? Are you excited about it? What are some things you want to see from it? What are some things you expect to see from it? But if you're also someone who's coming in as being like, I have no idea what Leverage is, but I'm kind of interested, maybe you're tangentially familiar, like, does this reboot kind of inspire you to go like, hey, the fact of the matter is there's 5 seasons waiting for me, so I might as well check those out, and I'm excited to binge all 5 of those in preparation for the revival. Hell, maybe you're like me and might want to go back, if you've seen the show already, going back and rewatching it in preparation for this revival. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to get to know your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, light to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.